It's a grift. No evidence, no screenshots, nothing. A lot of people came chiming in saying that they saw like Chinese people like harass her. A lot of people just ran with it. All the replies are like, ooh, disgusting. Ooh, Hoyoverse. Ew, that's so disgusting. There's zero proof. Keeping it free to play still takes money. That's true. And so they would have to like come out with a really good monetization model or whatever. You know, you might be right. It might not even go free to play. What is this? Concord shut down 11 days after launch by Sony. Wait, 11 days? Is that for real? Yeah, wow. That is insane. It's delisted everywhere already? Hold up. Okay, we gotta see this.
I'm sure this is going to come as a massive shock to everybody out there watching this video. But Concord has been cancelled after 11 days. I'm not even making this up. Sony are going to turn the servers offline on the 6th of September. You will no longer be able to play this game because it has...
On the 6th, they're gonna turn off the servers? That's insane, dude. Is this the record for like the shortest live service game? Definitely for like AAA games, right? That's insane.
Failed so miserably, but we need to break this down and we need to see what Sony is saying about this and how we even got here, because this is actually... It's
so funny because he says Concord got canceled, and usually it's the woke that try to cancel things. This time the woke got canceled.
Really feel for the developers on Concord. These guys have
so
poured
ironic
8 years of their life into this game, and elements of the game are extremely high production value. Other elements, yeah, they're very questionable. Things like the hero.
I will say the biggest thing about Concord, or like the coolest thing about it, is like the fidelity of the characters. They are very, very detailed. It is a very good looking game. If you look at just the detail, if you take a look at the design and like who the characters are, like what they look like, how they are like put together, it looks like ass. But the quality is pretty good.
Designs, they're just totally forgettable. I can only remember the bin guy. I can't even remember his name, but he was a big yellow bin. I remember that guy. But the actual fidelity, and I'm on record saying this, but the fidelity of the heroes themselves, and almost going for this like realistic...
Exactly what I said.
I think Itzy,
Yep.
the sort of alien like Catwoman. The graphic fidelity on her was insane. But again,
it is really good. But you see over here, like this looks like dog shit. It's very easy to see what's going on, you know? But like, look at the floor texturing. Look at the texturing on the walls. It's like very bland. The color palette's really nasty looking. This guy's got like a bunch of like zits on his hand. It's a very weird character, very weird cast, and the UI is insanely terrible.
Or ultra realism approach for hero design just doesn't cut it. People just forget that. I mean, I could, beyond Itzy and the bin guy, I couldn't even name you another character. And this is coming from a guy that made a video on the game comparing it to Overwatch, and then Sony said, hey, do you want to make some sponsored videos on this? And I was like, sure, provided it's just like basic guide stuff. I'm not obviously going to do, you know, review stuff or anything like that.
Right.
You'd be like in a massive conflict of interest there. So they were like, yeah, sure, just do a little basic guide thing. And I was like, all right, I'll do a little tip for every hero type deal. They were like, yeah, sure. So, you know, so I did that. And I do actually think that the game itself was like, gameplay wise, it was fine. But obviously it's way...
He's trying really hard to like sound nice about it. Honestly, when I looked at like Moist Critical played it, my first introduction to Concord was when I saw Charlie Moist Critical play it on stream. I think he played it when early access beta launched, and it just looked like straight ass, dude. He was just floating around. The gunplay was lethargic. It was very, very slow. It was just not, it did not look like a good time. And the characters, they are like really diverse. And I'm not talking about like DEI. I'm talking about like just their kit. Their kits are pretty unique, but it just felt like ass. It just sounded pretty bad.
And the problem is, no one cares about the heroes in a hero shooter. That's how your hero shooter dies. Although to die this fast is freaking amazing. It's crazy. Anyway, take a look at this, right? So this comes out from Sony, and it's like an important update from Firewalk Studios, or an update on Concord, I should say, from Firewalk Studios. And this is the update. And as you can see, I've just read through this, and it is like, it's insane. So basically what they say is an important update on Concord. Concord fans, we've been listening closely to your feedback since the launch of Concord on PlayStation 5 and PC.
We've decided to just take it off the store. We hear you loud and clear, guys. You guys don't really like the game? No problem. We're going to take it off.
I want to thank everyone who has joined the journey aboard the North Star. Your support and the passionate community.
That is an insane action to take. Like, on the one hand, it makes sense, but on the other, it's like, holy shit, it actually happened. You know what I mean?
That's grown around the game has meant the world to us. However, I mean, this is crazy, right? There's no passionate community around the game. This is the
yeah, like, what community are they talking about?
thing, right? I mean, guys,
like, your passionate community is about 45 players strong. About 45 players make up the bulk of Concord's community right now.
where have I got it? I've got it up here somewhere, right? I've actually got Redfall open because I want to use Redfall.
Well, okay, wait. They're beating Redfall. You know, not everything's looking that bad.
As an example of like, hey, they got 6,000 plays and they were seen as a massive disaster. There is no community for this game. Now, granted, I'm sure there's more players on PlayStation.
Damn,
but I mean,
dude.
if your Steam sales are that low, you ain't got a community on your game. You have failed to build a community for the game, and that's because players have not resonated with the game. They don't care for the hero designs. They don't care for the story. They don't care for the aesthetic on the whole. They just don't care, and that is a massive failure. So if you're coming into the market,
it's so crazy too, because where are like the people it was made for? Where did they go? Why aren't they supporting this game? This game was made for a certain audience. Where are they? Why didn't they buy the game? You know, they probably did buy the game, and you know what? This is what's happening. You know, at the end of the day, like, you can care about the social issues of the world, and like, for sure, I think a lot of it is very, very valid, marginalized groups and whatnot. But it's like, people look to play games to fulfill a sort of fantasy in their head, whether it's a power fantasy, whatever type of fantasy that you would want. And it's kind of weird when you bring these real life like politics into the mix and make that the core focus. That's the key thing over here, is that it's the core focus of the game. It's so core to its design that it is not necessarily what deteriorates the entire game around it. I think the game is just in general, from what I've seen anyway. But it makes it a really attractive punching bag. You know what I mean?
market with something which people just don't care about, and then
It really was made for, like, the thing is, you guys have to understand, this game was made for the grifters on Twitter, right? I think we can all agree with that. So I quote tweeted this earlier. Man, this just really makes me want to boycott Hoyo more. I'm going to boycott it by streaming myself playing Genshin and Zenless Zero tonight, and I'll be spending 0 money to Arms V Nation. You have over here, this is the person I quoted. They've since deleted their tweet, so we can't actually take a look at it. But this person says, so her English VA posted this image, and suddenly all of her social media is gone, and she's not voicing Fei Xiao in the new HSR trailer. Cool. I love Hoyoverse supporters, right? And she posted this image of Fei Xiao, who has a lot more tan skin, and she's implying that Fei Xiao's voice actress posted this image and got fired. Now, my tweet doesn't have a lot of traction because I'm dead on Twitter, but this person's tweet had a lot of likes, a lot of reposts, had a lot of traction, like 15,000 likes. It's a grift. It literally is just a grift. This person posted 0 proof, no evidence, no screenshots, nothing. A lot of people came chiming in saying that they saw like Chinese people like harass her, right? No one came with any screenshots whatsoever. No proof. But then this person gets to farm like 15,000 likes and a bunch of retweets and gets a bunch of follows anyway, because this person's literally just making shit up. And the thing is like, you see all these likes, and I think Concord wanted to get a slice of that pie. They thought that maybe there were actually people who cared enough to put their money where their mouth is, buy their game, who cared enough about these social issues and just buy into Concord. But the reality is, no, they don't. A lot of these people, the people that these type of tweets attract, are usually underage, usually very, very young. And whenever they see evil in the world, or what they perceive as evil, they're chomping on the bit to call it out and say what is like every which way why it's wrong. They want to be virtuous. They want to appear virtuous in front of everyone else. At the end of the day, they don't have a lot of money. And the people like this person don't actually care about these issues. They're just trying to farm the underage people that are liking their tweets. That's what's happening. It's all a grift. This person did take down the tweet, so you can argue like maybe it wasn't, but I'm sure they got a bunch of followers. They got a bunch of engagement, and you know, people are gonna be following around seeing what else they post, and they get to do it again, essentially. Yeah, it's amazing they actually came up with this. Yeah, no, and a lot of people just ran with it, and all the replies are like, ooh, disgusting, ooh, Hoyoverse, ew, that's so disgusting. There's 0 proof. Nothing showed this at all. So it's like, these people, they don't have the money to buy into this game, and even if they did, they don't really care. They like to pretend they care, but they don't really care. At the end of the day, they want to play characters like Fei Xiao because she's badass and she's hot. And that's really just what it is. But yeah, let's see what else he has to say about it.
You're like, we're going to spend 8 years on it. You've lost the plot. And it's not the devs. This is like the higher-ups, the executives making these decisions. And then we come into things like charging $40 for the game, which is insane in the era of free-to-play. Anyway, so they go on to say, however, while many qualities of the experience resonate with players, we also recognize that other aspects of the game in our initial launch didn't land the way we intended. Therefore, at this time, we've decided to take the game off.
I mean, did it? I mean, like, their intent, I think they carried out their vision. I just don't think it did well.
Line beginning September the 6th. That is insane. The game, like I said at the top of this video, is offline September the 6th. That's 11 days after the game launched. It will not be playable. It's
That's insane.
Done. It's finished. Now, they say they're going to take this time to explore options, including those that will better reach our players. Now, in my mind, the only thing they can do here is try to retool this for free-to-play. It's
Concord 2, baby. Just like Overwatch 2. Yo, we're going to revamp the single-player game, and then it's going to be a whole new story. We're just going to introduce you all to these characters. They're going to relaunch it. You're going to have to pay like $40 for it. $40 because it's not like going to be AAA, right? They want to make sure that they, you know, cater to like the people who bought it earlier and, you know, not have such a big price point, not a huge barrier of entry. And then like 6 months down the line, they're going to say, nope, we don't. No single player, by the way. Yo, guys, it turns out single player is pretty hard to put in. It's pretty hard to develop a really good single player experience.
It's actually kind of funny because there's an Amazon like animated short series coming out. And it's on a different like gaming IP every time, and one of them is Concord. Be interesting to see if it actually happens now, because Concord is gone. It won't be playable. We don't know when it's going to come back, or even if it's going to come back. But you would think it would be crazy if Sony to throw everything in the bin, try and at least salvage some aspects of the game. The question will be though, can they even salvage this game without like completely redesigning the heroes to make the just completely?
That's the thing, right? It's like it's already such an embedded feature. Like the heroes make a hero shooter, right? It's like half the title, half the genre. So it's a Doom project at the beginning, and these people, maybe they're talented, whatever, they need to work on a different IP. Just throw the IP straight to the garbage bin, start from scratch, work on something else. I mean, let's be real, whoever's been working on this team are disbanding anyway. I honestly don't think anyone can trust the leadership that ran this ship into the ground. It's kind of the same thing about Blue Protocol. Apparently, Blue Protocol is coming out with Blue Protocol Star Resonance. And this is like after Blue Protocol went EOS, and they're going to redo it with the cash shop through Tencent. And it's going to be a mobile gacha game. And it's going to focus entirely around like costume gacha. So yeah, no, I feel like Blue Protocol as an IP is doomed at the start. I don't know, maybe with China market, they don't really care. There's enough people and it might just spread around word of mouth if it's actually good. But from everything I've been reading on this, it just doesn't look very good at all. I think just like Concord, you might as well just throw the IP in the garbage.
Redesigning the game in a lot of ways. Maybe you could keep some of the core shooter mechanics because yeah, they were fun. I mean, it was like Destiny PvP. But beyond that, it's like, guys, what have we actually got here? It doesn't matter if it took 8 years or 800 years. It just cannot be fixed. So sometimes maybe just pulling the plug is the way forward. Yeah. But we'll have to wait and see. And also, I'm sure Sony have spent tons of money on this, like over 100 million easy. It's 8 years of development. And it's a AAA live service hero shooter game. It's just mental.
Yeah.
Anyway, I presume they're going to try and go free to play and give it another.
Yeah, I mean, they have to go free to play at this point. But the thing is, they have to make sure that the game itself is good. They have to make sure that the game itself is good. Otherwise, it's over. It really is over. Let's be clear, it's a Hail Mary. Chances are, even going free to play isn't going to do shit, but there's a shot.
Attempt like Concord Reborn or something.
No one's going to spend money
anyway,
for this
they say,
shit,
while we determine the best path ahead, Concord sales will cease immediately.
And the thing is, though, people can smell blood in the water. They can sniff out like something that stinks like shit. And like even the Twitter little gremlins, they're gonna know that this game isn't gonna have that much traction. And I don't think they would even download the game. I don't think they would waste the hard drive space. So yeah, I think it's DOA.
We will begin to offer a full refund for all gamers who've purchased the game on PS5 or PC if you purchase the game for PlayStation
Yeah, free-to-play is
5
not
from
going to
the
do
PlayStation
anything.
Store or PlayStation Direct, a refund will be issued.
I mean, it's easy to monetize a free-to-play game. Just get like a bunch of recolors like Overwatch does, put some premium skins in. It can, and they definitely should have set money aside to be a live service game to come out with some products like that. But it's shit. If it started out as shit, it's gonna be known to be shit. And unless they pull a miracle out of their ass, it's not gonna go anywhere.
Back to your original payment method.
Yeah, they don't want to keep the service
And then they
up
just
for
go
sure.
into detail basically how everyone gets a refund from the very...
They can see clearly that they're just losing money. They're just bleeding cash for no reason by keeping the servers up. That's why they're taking it down.
Stores. And then, as you've seen, I had highlighted as I flipped to this tab, we'll keep you updated. Thank you again to all the free gunners who've joined us in the Concord Galaxy. The thing is, though, I mean, nobody joined you in your galaxy, right? And now this isn't like ragging on the devs, because I do think the devs have done some good work in some aspects of the game. I do think there are other issues, though. And I do think when you look at Concord and you go, what have we got here? A very high fidelity game, character design-wise.
Sure.
But the designs themselves are not great, right? Itzy probably is the most, well, is she even the most memorable one to me? I don't think she is. I think the bin guy is.
Itzy, definitely the trash can robot is the most memorable.
But he's that memorable. I can't even remember. I cannot even remember his name. One Off. Is it One Off? I think he's called One Off. Whatever. I can't remember his name. Then you've got the thing like the little...
Oh, yeah. Giant booger juggernaut woman.
It was... Well, I guess it was little, but like the Pixar quality animated thing that they had as an intro trailer. That probably cost a shitload to get made. And
that trailer was pretty good. I was pretty impressed by the trailer, personally.
Completely didn't give you the story of the game. And then when they flipped to the gameplay footage... And the gameplay footage was just like, oh, it's a hero shooter. It's like, what the hell? This looked like Guardians of the Galaxy RPG game. But now it's not. Now it's like, what? Guardians of the Galaxy rip-off hero shooter. What's going on? But like I said, you know, when you did play the game, actually...
I like what IGN said to describe it. It's like if you took Guardians of the Galaxy and like... I think he said if you rubbed it in the sweaty armpits of what was the main character of Guardians of the Galaxy and then just like presented it, right? It's just like, it's really bad.
Actually, it was okay, but the problem...
Isn't this type of trailer kind of misleading? It's like a story trailer and it's a cinematic trailer. Most people would look at cinematic trailers and, you know, it's just like, it is what it is. It's not gameplay, but it could get people hyped, right? Sort of like the Jane demo. Like there's no gameplay, but it's supposed to look good.
Problem is, to get into playing the
Star-Lord,
game,
yeah.
you look at the heroes, you look at it, and you're like, I'm not playing this. And people just don't play it. And it's like such a massively fundamental misunderstanding of what people wanted, or even what the audience wanted, or even if the audience even existed for this type of thing. Or it's not that it existed, I don't think. I think it's like the audience, has it got the... Is the audience fatigued, or is the audience even got the time? Because the audience is playing Overwatch 2, Apex Legends, Valorant, you name it, they're playing those games. And are they going to come and play this game? Because guess what? You have to buy it to actually play it. Right. Now I know $40 is like a skin in Overwatch.
Like at this point, even Overwatch 2 is winning more than Concord. Even Overwatch 2, like with all the it's got, their reputation in the dirt, somehow it's managed to salvage some of it by releasing Juno, and like it's doing all right.
Whatever, right? Which is completely ludicrous because you can get an entire...
But it's funny how like that kind of flipped for Overwatch. Just, you know, stay breathing long enough and, you know, people forget.
Game for that price. I would still recommend buying Helldiver.
The characters are fun.
100% for that kind of money. Concord, you can't buy it, so I can't recommend that anymore. It's just literally gone. But like, it's a barrier. And again, this goes back to the whole thing of the development time for the game. So we should take a look at that.
Oh, it was like 8 years.
So this is one of the devs who worked on Concord. And by the way, I haven't just got my glasses on to try and look cool or like some sort of dickhead. They're literally prescription. I can't see my monitors without them on, and I've lost my glasses. So I'm having to wear my sunglasses indoors. It's a good job that I've got such massively bright studio lighting. So they actually, to be honest,
actually pretty
it's kind of better with them on.
Yeah.
Reading the monitors. Anyway, this is a tweet that popped up a couple of weeks ago, and it was for the launch of Deadlock. Not Deadlock. Yeah. That's the other game I should throw in.
Deadlock is doing really well. Deadlock is doing really well. That game is so fun. After I ended stream, I turned on Deadlock, and I maybe queued for like a game or two, and I was like, I should have queued earlier so that I could play more. There's no matchmaking after like 3 a.m. But I found myself sitting there for like 2 hours just trying to make a good hero build.
Playing Deadlock, right? It's free. You get an invite, but fairly easy. Again, it's another hero-based game. Hey, and it's got a very unique take on a genre. It's not just the same old, which is what Concord basically is, but
exactly,
you know, 8 years too late. Anyway, Concord say, or this dev says, today fireworks.
See, yeah, like there were so many devs, so many people that were saying like, oh, you picked the wrong genre. It's oversaturated. There's so many good stuff out right now. Nothing that's gonna come out in this genre is gonna do remotely well. Well, then Deadlock came out, and it's doing phenomenally. Yeah, like I don't think it's about the genre. Your game is you know.
Studios launched Concord. The game has been in development for around 8 years, and I've been there for almost 5 of them. We don't get a lot of launch days in our career, so today's special. For a ton of reasons, oblige me some good vibes today. And then goes on to say, a big reason for being...
I mean, Deadlock didn't come out yet. It's literally in pre-alpha still. Yeah, it is. Take a look at how many people are playing it. Look at that difference. 76,000 right now, guys.
Invited into a position of creative trust on a new experience.
If it's good, we pour monies. Yep. If you build it, they will come. And if it's a good product, people will spend money on it.
Obviously, it's a
That's
group
all
effort,
it is.
and having a seat at the table with others who inspire you and push you to do your best is a tremendous privilege. That trust gave the game so much identity. More personally, I feel so lucky to have had another run at game design with my longtime friends and more. Close friends, wonderful people, and literally some of the best developers in the world. Concord has so much humanity and depth to it. I really hope people give it a shot. Insanely proud of the game, and we're strapped in and ready to push it for years to come.
Damn. This is August 21st, like 3 days before the launch of maybe early access or the launch of the game. Yikers, dude.
Well,
it almost sounds like he knew it wouldn't do that well. It's like, thanks, guys. We made a good team. We gave it our all, guys. We really just put our heart and souls out there, and we did the best we could. Well,
you're not pushing it for years to come because it's gone. It's gone in September. It's just gone. Now, like I said, caveat here is because obviously no one bought the game, no one's playing the game. I would 100% imagine what's going to happen is Sony will try and make this game free to play and just basically relaunch what they've got maybe a month down the line. Well, that's me being naive. It does not take 1 month to turn a game which is not free to play into a free-to-play game, because
I would say they definitely have to go back to the drawing board, figure out what they want to do. Sure, I would say a month is fine. It's not like you flip a switch. You know, let it cool down, let the news kind of disperse, right? Let it kind of, the story just get out of everyone's mind, and you come back maybe, right? It's not going to do anything, but I think that's their best shot.
Problem with free-to-play games is they need their monetization systems.
Keeping it free to play still takes money. That's true. And so they would have to like come out with a really good monetization model or whatever. You know, you might be right. It might not even go free to play because like this is dead in the water.
Does not have a battle pass. It's one of the things.
Personally, I'd be embarrassed. I'd be embarrassed to put it out there. But I mean, this is some people's jobs we're talking about. So, you know, it is what it is.
Concord were sort of priding themselves on. We don't
Deadlock
have a battle
is
pass,
PC
right?
only, yeah.
We're just going to sell you DLC. Problem is, if you ain't got a battle pass, you can't really easily convert yourself to a free-to-play game. You need other ways of making money. You need a microtransaction store. You need all that kind of stuff. You need the assets to sell. You can't just launch a game free to play.
Look at this dumbass gun. He's literally shooting booger balls, and they're slowing down while traveling in the air.
Play and then go, we'll try and do the monetization later, because the whole point is you're trying to monetize the players as they're coming through the door for free.
Look at that. Oh, exciting gameplay.
And it costs money to run a game, right? Developers are
So
expensive.
fun.
Servers are expensive. It's just expensive.
They buffed in the main game the most annoying gun.
It's been very expensive.
Maybe they did.
And nobody has bought it. I mean, they've literally made zero money off this game.
He's like running up on him. He's like, all right, dude, I'm going to rush him down. I'm going to rush him down with my barrage of booger balls. Let's go. Let's go. Crouch dash. Okay, fire 2 shots. 3, 4, 5. Dead.
Well, not made zero. They've probably made a couple hundred.
There's like 3 bullets that never even touched him.
Grand probably in sales. I'd be surprised if they made over 500 grand, which probably doesn't even cover a week of development costs. You know what I mean? Or maybe even covers like 2 weeks if you're lucky. It's actually insane.
Oh, man.
But there is more. There is more. So I want to take a look at this article from IGN, and they say why Concord failed. That's the title of it.
Okay.
But what I like about this article is it talks about the notion of how long it takes for games to be made in this modern era of live service games. it's too long and it's not sustainable. And
It's
again, I do
not.
want to stress the developers themselves, I do think they're not to blame. They're obviously not to blame. It's whoever here has got overall control of the direction.
Yeah, it is really the captain of the ship, the director, the executive producer, whoever was in charge of facilitating and putting this project together. Who was responsible for it? Who okayed this direction? Who okayed this design? It really falls to them. It really is a leadership failure because whoever was in charge obviously didn't care. You know, they were content with throwing money to Sweet Baby Incorporated, DEI, whatever bump like consulting group, and they threw money at it, listen to the advice, and be like, okay, yeah, we do it that way for sure. And this is what you get. You can't just throw money at a problem. You have to actually give a fuck about what you put out there. And clearly, no one gave a fuck about Concord.
Of the game, it's whoever has got overall control of the sort of financial approach to the game.
Yep.
It's the executives. It doesn't matter if you've got the best developers in the world. If they're working on the wrong thing, they're working on the wrong thing. And that is literally the end of it. And that's obviously what's happened here in a massively catastrophic, never before seen fashion. Anyway, this is what I want to take a look at. So, with so many games now taking close to a decade from the beginning of development to release, we're starting to see the financial and creative consequences of an overlong development cycle. Spend too much time in development and ideas that were once novel are no longer in vogue.
And it's crazy too because COVID has been like done now, but it's like this was in development before COVID. So it's not even like they recruited so many people during it thinking like it would pop off. So I really don't know. There is a long dev cycle and maybe people are kind of coming down on the high from the game industry. But it would be interesting to see like where gaming kind of goes from here because I think it's pretty clear how like political views or general consensus opinion goes. It usually works and swings on a pendulum. And right now, there are a lot of people that are speaking out against this sort of mindset of inclusivity. And your thoughts on that may vary, whatever. I personally think inclusivity is fine. DEI is fine. Doesn't make a bad game, but it does make a bad game worse. And this is clearly a joke to everyone that with two eyes. You know, these type of initiatives, this type of direction is just not sustainable right now in this market. Anything that's going to be shipping with this much commitment to such an ideal is going to find themselves in a huge hole.
Furthermore, the time and money spent over those years has to be recouped somehow, which leads to decisions like $40 cost of entry for Concord when many of its peers are free to play. The cost of coming late to the party means you must bring something new to the table.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Concord is neither particularly innovative.
Or you don't even need to. Like, Marvel Rivals is not really novel. It's not really new, right? But it's going to do a lot better than Concord because guess what? It delivers on making a hero shooter with a much more popular IP. I think it's going to be just fine.
Innovative.
Good
Or content heavy. That said, it does have a level of polish at launch that was often absent from its hero shooter peers when they first released. Again, this is what I was trying to sort of articulate earlier in the video. It does have that real high level AAA sort of visuals. Like it feels AAA.
Yeah.
The animations look
sure
really good, you know, and all of that stuff. It's really well done in that respect. Concord's weekly animation story drops are fully motion capture, and Fireworks' time spent on crafting its lore has helped secure Concord an episode of this winter's video game animation anthology series, Secret Level, which is the thing I was trying to remember earlier. But also, what they were trying to do with these weekly animations is push the story of the game forward every week. And the idea was, it was a couple of minutes, you maybe get 2 minutes of like a little animation, which was fully mocapped every week, which, I'll be honest, is kind of shit. Like, on paper, I can see what they're doing. It's like, okay, well, we're going to give you constant updates to the story, but it's kind of shit. Like, that's just like, no one is really going to care about that. They want those big, high-impact animated shorts. Just, again, look at Overwatch. They completely slayed it when it came to this, especially
Overwatch was really good. Like, I think people forget, like, when Overwatch first was coming out, people were hype as fuck for that game. Every time they dropped like a story trailer, every time they dropped anything involving the characters, their 3D animations, people were really, really loving that stuff. And that's what you probably need. In order to sell a hero shooter, you have to sell people on the characters. You have to sell people on the heroes, the characters themselves. And unfortunately, nobody wants to play a giant booger lady or a walking trash can or a mushroom person. Nobody gives a fuck about these characters, especially if you don't give them reasons to give a fuck about them. Where's the story? Where is anything involving these characters? Nobody's just gonna look at it and be like, oh, that looks good. Even Jane Doe would not sell. I think Jane Doe is gonna break like the market. I think Jane Doe is gonna pull numbers for September revenue. I think Jane Doe easily is going to put Zenless Zone Zero around 60, 70 mil. I'll say 70 because that's what I said before. But Jane Doe, when just the drip marketing campaign, I think people were like, okay, she's hot. But it wasn't until you saw how she moved, you saw how she acted in the story, you saw how she animated, you saw her personality. It wasn't until all these things that you were sold on the character. The drip marketing, just the visuals, is not enough. The character is a complete package. Maybe these characters are interesting, but you don't give anyone a reason to be interested in them, right? There's no material there.
Watch when you look at like any of the early cinematics, they've just got crazy views on YouTube, but they're also crazy good, and they really tell you about the characters.
That Genji Hanzo sure has 44 million views now. Yeah, absolutely.
To really communicate what the characters are doing in the game. You know, when you look at them, you just don't even know what they're going to do. Like, with the exception maybe of the sniper. Again, I can't remember a name. Which just goes to show, is literally, it is not memorable
yeah,
at
it's
all.
not.
But
not
this can't continue, can it? Developers literally cannot continue spending this much time trying to make a game, and then these are the returns they get. It is completely and wholly unsustainable. And I don't know if things will have to change, right? Because one thing... And I'm going to end the video with this, but one thing that really kind of pisses me off when I start thinking about this is you think of all the talent that has been working on this game for this long and what they could have been working on if there was actually some proper design.
Yeah, imagine if this game, like, was good. Imagine if you had, like, a good-looking cast, you know, you didn't have, like, really slow gameplay. Imagine if these developers put their work into something that actually was... Like, the fidelity of these characters are really good. They are really good. These characters look, like, very, very detailed. And imagine if they just looked better. If they were just designed better. Because that's crazy how all this talent was wasted. Detailed turds, exactly. It's just intricate lines on a piece of...
line and proper direction. You know, maybe they could be working on a totally different game or whatever. But I do feel like game development is a very unrelenting industry to work in. You can work on something for years and years and years, and your project just gets cancelled because maybe it's no longer feasible, took too long in development or whatever. Or in the case of Concord,
look at that, though. Ragdoll physics. The ragdoll physics is pretty cool over here. Look, she gets shot out in the air. Boom, blast the fuck out. Gets like sent... rolling backwards in the air.
It launches and gets absolutely hammered and then ends up unlaunching and going away, being deleted 11 days after the launch, which is frigging crazy. This isn't a wake-up call to all those suits in the studios thinking, oh yeah, we can spend ages and stupid budgets producing games that no one's going to play. Guess what? No one's going to play them. So what are you doing? All right, guys, thank you for watching the video. I just wanted to throw this out there because it kind of puts a cap on the Concord experience. I wasn't intending to cover Concord anyway for reasons, you know, outlined. There's no one playing it. I wasn't playing it. I thought it was okay for what it was.
I was thinking about buying it now because apparently Concord is offering full refunds, Steam and Sony. I was thinking about buying it just to play it on stream and just to see exactly how bad it is. Or maybe it is going to be good and like the character designs just really tanked it.
That was it. There's just not enough time in the day to play this game. There is literally not enough time in the day. It doesn't differentiate itself from the competition.
No one's excited to play this game.
Literally, that's it. There was no draw. It failed on every basic front and then spent 8 years failing.
You can't buy it anymore? I don't know, maybe.
Thing, which was just, well, it's going to go down in history, right? This is going to be studied for years to come on how not to make a AAA game. All right, guys, thanks for watching the video.
True.
I've been Stylosa. Remember, you can follow me on everything, which is at Stylosa. And yeah, I'll probably have a deadlock video for you tomorrow. If you want to see
Deadlock video.
Catch you lovely lot on the next one. See you soon.
Good shit. Hopefully he does more of these type of news videos. I really like these videos. They're really fun. Anyway, I don't really think there's anything else for me to say. Concord is dead, and for good reason.